Question number 2, Grant Robertson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by all his statements?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Yes.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
In light of his statement to this House in question 3 on the 31st of July about the Henry inquiry, quote, "I had issued terms of reference for the inquiry," end quote, what responsibility does he take for those terms of reference being the reason that David Henry asked for and was given Andrea Vance's swipe card access records?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I set terms of reference. I think those terms of reference were reasonably clear. I'm not going to go into the other details because it's a matter before the Privileges Committee.
No.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Does he think that there was adequate oversight of his inquiry, given the evidence today that his chief executive was surprised that Andrea Vance's swipe card records were accessed, that David Henry thought he was entitled to access them, and no one seemed to know what the powers or the parameters for the inquiry were?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I'm not going to comment because the matter is before the committee, but what may well occur as a result of the committee is there may be better protocols that are formed, and that would be a good thing if that's the case.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Does he agree with Judith Collins' statement today that it was, quote, "chilling" to discover that the Henry inquiry had treated the privacy of ministers' metadata information in a, quote, "contemptuous way"?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I wouldn't want to comment on a full quote that I haven't seen, but what I can say is that as Prime Minister, I put out the terms of reference, and if any minister didn't like them, they were happy to complain about it.
Supplementary question.
Order. Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Does he agree with Andrew Kibblewhite, the chief executive of his department, who said today that there are circumstances in which journalists' swipe card access records could be made available to an inquiry?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, the matter is before the Privileges Committee. It's not helpful for me to wade in at this time.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Is he satisfied with how David Henry undertook the inquiry he issued terms of reference for?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well, Mr Speaker, the matter is before the Privileges Committee, and it's not going to be helpful for me to do that, but I'd be a lot more satisfied with David Henry than I would be with David Shearer hanging up a couple of snapper in the house.
Thanks for that, Bob Hope.
Order. Supplementary question.
Supplementary question.
Order. Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Does he not think that given the privacy issues that clearly arise with respect to metadata that Judith Collins raised today and the other concerns raised in the committee, that he owes New Zealanders the respect to listen to their concerns about the protection of their metadata and stop the GCS bill today?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, no, I think the bill should pass because it will strengthen the important role that New Zealand needs to play to protect our citizens. And for the record, Sonny, I might be Bob Hope, but you're Grant Hope.
Order. If the Honourable Annie King has a point of order, she's welcome to raise it.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order.
Mr Speaker, are you going to say anything other than order to that answer to the
question? Order. Can I ask the member to reflect how the remark came about in the first place? It was a remark from the Grant. Well, it is not helpful to determine who started it. Both. Order! It just goes to show the disorder that's created when smart remarks are provided by either the questioner or the answerer, or the person answering the question. Question number 3, Claudette Hoiti.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker.